1. The Parliament Secretariat should be given resources to set up a research department. This department should have a head and several full-time staffers to provide research support for MPs as they scrutinize bills and policies. I think an appropriate annual starting budget for such a department is around $1 million. 2. The allowance to hire legislative assistants and secretary assistants should be increased and extended to NCMPs and NMPs. It is timely for the government to review the legislative assistance scheme for NCMPs and NMPs, as it promised to do so in 1997. 3. The government to provide all data requested by members in the requested format, unless there are national security or financial market sensitivities consideration. The government should not use the risk of such data being misinterpreted or being used for other purposes as justification for not releasing it.
On the first point, NCMPs have the same voting rights as MPs in Parliament, but it is indisputable that their workload is less than that of elected MPs, and they do not have the responsibility for a specific constituency or for dealing with MPS cases of residents. As such, in principle, it is reasonable to differentiate between the support the elected MPs and NCMPs receive. On the second, in terms of the allowances given to elected MPs, whether it be the general allowance or the allowances for hiring a legislative assistant, the LA, and a secretarial assistant, we do not differentiate between PAP MPs and opposition MPs. The amount given to elected PAP MPs and the elected opposition MPs is exactly the same, which is fair. The PAP backbenchers make do with exactly the same allowances as the elected WP MPs, save for the leader of the opposition. Mr. Leong has called for a research department to support all MPs, costing $1 million for a start. His justification is that, and I quote, many MPs from both sides of the House do not come from a public policy or legal background and may require assistance to do such work. Close quotes. While many PAP MPs do not come from such backgrounds either, they are not asking for this. They have been able to work within the allowances currently allocated to them. They also often pool their LA allowances to hire full-time legislative and/or secretarial assistants to support 2 or more MPs. They do not confine themselves to the legislative assistant allowance, but often also draw upon their MP's allowance to top up the sum. It is quite open to opposition MPs and NCMPs to do the same. In reality, we actually provide more data than most countries. I ask Mr. Leong and members to bear in mind that data collation, as well as slicing and dicing it in different ways, and the need to check the data thereafter, costs time, money, and effort. We will lean forward to provide what is reasonable and practicable, but we cannot fulfill every whim.